So this YouTuber was contracted to fix a crashed Bugatti. He's filming the whole rebuild process. And now Bugatti, one of the biggest car companies on earth, is mad at him. Anyway, things are getting a bit serious and lawyers may probably be involved. This isn't really about fixing a car anymore. It's more about who's in charge, who gets blamed if something goes wrong, and how big companies still have a lot of power, even after they sell you the car. Yeah, Bugatti taking legal action against Matt Armstrong sounds unbelievable at first, but the tension building around this rebuild has pushed things into dangerous territory. As the project gained millions of views, the stakes changed dramatically. What started as a damaged hypercar being brought back to life could turn into a potential legal battlefield that could redefine how independent mechanics, rebuilders, and even collectors operate in the luxury market. Matt Armstrong became known for taking on projects others were scared to touch. Cars written off, blacklisted, or considered financially dead. All were turned into content and eventually working machines again. But when he and FLXG took on a blacklisted Bugatti rebuild, the rules were different from day one. Bugatti refused to support it. Parts weren't supplied. Approval wasn't given. That alone was supposed to be enough to shut everything down and discourage anyone from continuing. But the rebuild didn't stop. Instead, it accelerated. Before we go further, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because this rebuild is reaching a point where every next step matters. As the videos went viral, the car stopped being just a car. It became a public case study watched by millions. Every panel removed, every solution found without factory backing challenged the idea that Bugatti alone controls what happens to its vehicles after sale, and that challenge is where the real conflict begins. Bugatti doesn't just sell cars. It sells exclusivity, authority, and strict control over its brand image. Every Bugatti on the road represents the company, whether they like it or not. When a rebuild happens outside that system, especially one documented publicly and consumed globally, it threatens more than resale value. It threatens perception, image, and long-standing control. For manufacturers operating at this level, perception is everything. A Bugatti isn't just engineered to perform at 400 kilometers per hour. It's engineered to exist within a tightly controlled ecosystem. Approved service centers, approved technicians, approved repairs, approved narratives. Anything that falls outside that system becomes a liability. Not because it's unsafe by default, but because it's uncontrollable. If people see a blacklisted Bugatti successfully rebuilt without factory involvement, it raises uncomfortable questions. Questions about ownership, questions about independence, questions about whether manufacturers truly have the final say once a customer pays millions and takes delivery. Those are questions Bugatti would rather never answer in public. This is where legal pressure enters the conversation. Not necessarily because rebuilding a car is illegal, but because manufacturers have other tools at their disposal. Brand protection laws, trademark usage, copyright claims, arguments around reputational harm. Even the suggestion of a lawsuit can apply pressure strong enough to make most people stop immediately. A legal move or even the threat of one sends a clear message to the entire market. And that message isn't just aimed at Matt Armstrong. It's aimed at rebuilders, insurers, and future buyers watching closely. It says stepping outside the manufacturer's ecosystem comes with consequences that go far beyond mechanical difficulty. You're not just fixing a car. You may be exposing yourself to legal, financial, and reputational risks you never anticipated. This is especially dangerous in the world of hyper-luxury assets, where value is often built on trust and reputation rather than practicality. Cars like Bugattis aren't easy to move. They aren't quick to sell. Their value depends heavily on manufacturer relationships, approved histories, and perceived legitimacy. Once those are questioned, liquidity disappears almost instantly. For independent builders and content creators, reputational risk is just as serious. A public legal dispute with a brand like Bugatti can scare away sponsors, collaborators, and future clients overnight. Even if no court ever rules against you, the damage can already be done simply by being involved. That's why many believe Bugatti's stance isn't about one rebuild at all. It's about setting a precedent, drawing a firm line, making it clear that unauthorized rebuilds, public documentation, and independent modifications won't be tolerated when they challenge the brand's authority or weaken its control. From Bugatti's perspective, allowing this to continue unchecked could open the floodgates. Other damaged cars, other rebuilders, other owners may decide they don't need factory permission anymore. Once that happens, control slips away and reputation becomes harder to protect. For traders and buyers watching closely, the lesson is uncomfortable but important. Due diligence in this space goes far beyond checking VIN numbers or service history. It includes understanding unwritten rules, manufacturer expectations, and legal gray areas that don't show up on contracts or invoices. This situation also exposes a harsh reality many owners don't like to admit. Owning a high-value asset doesn't always mean controlling it. In some cases, manufacturers still hold influence long after the sale is complete. Influence that can shape what you're allowed to do, who will work on the car, and whether your investment retains value at all. And the risk doesn't stop with one car. If a lawsuit or legal pressure succeeds here, it sets a template, one that other manufacturers can follow. Ferrari, Lamborghini, McLaren, Pagani, all watching closely, all capable of using similar strategies to discourage independent rebuilds, public documentation, and unauthorized modifications. At that point, the market changes permanently. Rebuilding becomes a legal risk, trading becomes more dangerous, content creation becomes a liability, and ownership starts to feel more like a license than a right. So the question becomes simple but brutal. Is the thrill of the deal worth the risk? Is rebuilding, trading, or publicly documenting a hyper-luxury asset worth the potential legal pressure, reputational damage, and financial fallout? For Matt Armstrong, the rebuild continues despite the pressure. For Alex G., walking away would mean accepting a total loss. And for Bugatti, every new video represents a challenge to a system they've spent decades carefully controlling. For the rest of the market, this isn't entertainment anymore. It's a warning. The luxury car world may look glamorous on the surface, but beneath it lies a maze of power, control, and risk that few people truly understand until they're already caught inside it. Contracts don't tell the whole story. Ownership papers don't guarantee freedom. And once manufacturers decide to push back, the balance of power becomes very clear. And this story is far from over. If you want to stay updated on how this unfolds, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because what happens next could change the rules of the hypercar world completely. See you in the next one.